think you always think it will never happen to me, and that night just completely crumbled and crushed our family. Shane was the light and life of just everything. As soon as he walked into a room, the room just lit up. He was very, very hard working. He was really passionate. He was, an amazing father and husband. Great friends. Everybody that talks about Shane, they just have a beam on their face. Shane had gone to a family event, a family party. He'd then got the train back into Shrewsbury and decided to go into Shrewsbury with some friends. And what was a very usual evening for us turned into the worst evening of my life. He had gone out and he'd gone to various establishments within Shrewsbury and got separated from his friends, and for some reason ended up alone, and unfortunately he stumbled forwards and tripped over a low wall, and rather than the wall pushing him backwards, it propelled him forwards to where he found himself in the River Severn. I was informed by my amazing, incredible family liaison officer that the West Mercia search and rescue team were being asked to come in and support the search, and I was just taken back. I was a complete stranger to them, and that really affected me, and I was like, I've got to go and see them. I've got to go and say thank you. And I went down to the River Severn when the team were there, and at that point Shane hadn't been located. It was actually when I was walking away from the river that they actually located and retrieved Shane, and I think that was very impactful for the team. They said they'd never experienced it where a family member was on scene. Finding him and retrieving him from the river gave me a sense of relief. I just didn't want him to be alone in the cold, wet water. I wanted to have the opportunity to say goodbye and to be able to have, the understanding and the answers to try and support my children. Obviously my son at the time was 3 years old, and he kept asking me, where's daddy? When's daddy coming back? And I just didn't have the answers to give him because I didn't know myself. So the fact that they came and found him helped and supported us all as a family. And when I went down to see the team, obviously I gave them my thanks there. I contacted the team, said, if there is anything I can ever do, please let me know. And they contacted me and spoke to me about the ambassador role. And even to this day, I still don't feel like I've done enough to repay them or to show my gratitude or to show my thanks. There is nothing that I can ever do to truly show them how grateful and how thankful I am to them. It's a journey. And like I said, we have our good days and our bad days, and I think some people can sometimes think that grief is a circle of stages, and you complete those stages and it's done and it's finished, where in reality that's not the case. You move through the grief stages, and actually you go back through the grief stages as well, and I think that is a process, and I like to call it a wave, and some days are not great days and other days are good, and it's for me to show the children that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to sit with these uncomfortable feelings and seek out support from our families and friends and other people, and that it's okay to sit and cry and remember Dad, but then the next second start laughing because we've remembered a funny thing that's happened or a funny situation or a saying that he would say. And I think it's made the children really compassionate and empathetic towards others. In their lives as children, they have friends that have experienced bereavement or loss in all different shapes and forms, and actually they are able to empathise and show compassion and understanding for their family members.
It becomes a police matter. It's about education. Obviously, when we have people that fall in the river, a huge amount of police time and fire then go into search and rescue. We want to prevent it, don't we? So it's about education. It's about helping people understand The dangers, although it might seem obvious, it isn't sometimes. The riverbanks are slippy, you know, people are getting too close on an evening, and as our town is literally surrounded by a river, and not all of it is fenced or secure.
Stay with your friends. Make a plan before you go out of where you're going. Make sure other people know where you're going, what the plan is. Obviously now there is technology that can support your location. Have that on. In the blink of an eye, the most terrible tragedy can happen, and it can happen to anybody. The water does not discriminate. I would just say I wish everybody a fabulous evening in whatever they are doing, but get home safe to your loved ones and stay with your friends.